And what is good, everybody? I am your host, 2400Y2K, and welcome back to the pod. So, I know it's been a while again, but it just gives me time to get experience, you know what I mean? God damn, I got like a fucking cough that won't go away, so my bad throughout this episode. But, nah, what's good, everybody? I've just been, I've been learning shit. I've been figuring shit out more so. Um, which I'm pretty hyped about. I'm pretty satisfied. I'm smiling, ear to ear type shit. Um, but anyways, yeah. So essentially, updates. Um, I was thinking about putting a bird sound effect. That's so for the pod. You know what I mean? Like I already know y'all seen my intro, but like, you know what I mean. Before I say, there's like the video intro. Then I go, "What's up, everybody?" Whoop you. I was thinking about putting a bird sound effect when I come in. You know what I mean, like a caw type shit. And yeah, I think that'd just be something silly. You know what I mean? I'm a jester. I like to have fun. I like to laugh. Like truly and honestly, I believe that taking life too serious is fucked up. And I do it. I do it too, right? Because I'm human. Everybody does it. God damn. But yeah, I just believe that like I don't know how to explain it, right? Because I'm human too, and like it sounds higher than thou type shit. But I mean, what I'm trying to say is that I don't. I think when you take life too serious, and obviously it doesn't help. Like you can't tell this to somebody who's like grieving or something, right? And that's a whole separate conversation I had with like my homie about how when you talk to people, it's like you can be knowledgeable about stuff, right? And be like, um, this is how you'd improve a budget or something, right? Like this is how if you were poor or something, like this is just an example, but if you were poor or whatever, and like you can know stuff, but like if you were poor, you'd want a budget like this, or this is how you could save money, this is how you could better situations. You know what I mean? Go to the job office. It's like kind of like the phrase of like, just get a job, right? Or like, and you can know ways and statistics and whatnot. But at the end of the day, um, when someone's actually in a fucked up situation, like you can't say that shit. It's kind of like you tell somebody something like bad, right? Or like something like, um, I got fired, right? I didn't get fired for real. But I'm saying in the example, like, let's say you're like, oh, I got fired. And something you'll hear a lot is like, oh, it's just a job. It gets better. And it is just a job and it will get better. However, when you're in it, like, you don't want to hear that. I'm not trying to hear that. You know what I mean? Eh, it's, it's not some shit I'm trying to hear because I'm in my own process of like, grieving or whatever you want to call it. I don't know if you'd call it necessarily grieving, but you know what I mean? Being upset about that or let's say your toilet floods or something, right? Like toilet floods. Now you got to pay for that, and your toilet doesn't work for X amount of time until they can get there. Whatever the situation may be, and then someone's like, "Oh, it's all right, man. Like, hey, it's fine. They're coming to fix the toilet. Like, it gets better. Like, it's just money." That's another common one you'll hear. It's just money, which I get. It is balance, right? I always preach that balance. You'll hear me say that over and over: balance, balance. But nah, like it doesn't feel good to hear that shit when you're in it. And like, oh yeah, money, you lose some, it comes and goes, but it's like when I lose the money, like I don't want to hear that, man. I don't. And when you're in a rational mindset, when you're like up again or whatever, you're like, yeah, it is just money, or you know what I mean? You're like, yeah, I am better. Like shit did get better. There's a bit in the show called Atlanta. A lot of people probably heard of it. It's made or produced by Childish Gambino, like written somewhat by him and a lot written by his brother. But anyways, in Atlanta, there's a scene where, or there's this bit or whatever you'd like to call it, where or the episodes about how he's at the pawn shop or whatever, and he pawns something to get some money because he's got to pay rent or something along those lines. And his homie's like, "Well, I have a better way to make some money, or like if you buy this sword instead of using that money for rent, like I can get you more money out of it." So he listens to him because dude's solid, and um he listens to him. So then they go. He buys a sword. He buys a sword. They go to a dog trainer, or no. They go to like this yakuza type place, and that sounds like type of way, but that's really what it is, like an Asian gang, but in Atlanta. But you know what I mean? It's that type of vibe. Like a lot of them are tatted up, like they're listening to the Keith Ape, like you know what I mean, like a young generation of like Asian gangsters type shit. So they go there, they trade the sword, or no, he makes him do something else inconvenient first. They have to trade the sword, or no, I can't remember how it goes. Anyways, they end up getting a dog out of it. So he's like, "Well, what am I gonna do with the dog? We're gonna sell the dog, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." So then he goes to another guy who he's gonna sell the dog to or whatever, or give the dog to. He gives the it's a breeder. He gives the breeder the dog, and the breeder obviously accepts it. And he said in some X amount of months, whenever the puppies are born and whenever they're stable, you know, I think he said, I don't know how dogs lifespans work, but whatever the time is, he's like, in that amount of months, we'll get he turned like $200 into like $3,600, right? And he's like, we'll get like 3,600 for like the puppies, or 3,600 a piece or whatever, some shit like that. And he's like, I don't need that money in 8 months. I need that money now. And like that's what I mean, is when you're in it, like you're really not trying to hear that. And I understand a bit, but also sometimes you gotta like be rational as well. Like you can't just think every situation is the end of the world. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it really feels like the end of the world, but not all the time is necessary for that. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that bug out and panic and just treat a lot of problems as it like they're way more serious than they are, and like time and place type shit for me, anyways. Sorry if I keep saying that. Been watching a lot of TikToks or Instagram reels. Been too much brain rot. But anyways, yeah, where was I? Oh yeah, so like when you take shit too serious, it I think it's bad for you. I think it's my bad, y'all. But in general, I think it's bad for you because it's not meant to be taken too serious. And not everything has to be a problem. And yes, stand on your beliefs. And yes, stand up for yourself. And yes, you shouldn't go through bad shit. And yes, there's a time to grieve. There's a time to be upset. There's a time to cry. Like, it's hard. It's a hard balance, right? But I do think, like, I don't know, I take a lot of shit unserious, or I try to remove myself from the situation mentally and put myself in a different situation, because I feel like that's better for your mental health than constantly berating your mind with a bunch of negative thoughts, or a bunch of like like I said, world ending shit. Like it's okay to have negative thoughts, but when everything is like or letting it stack up, you know what I mean? Because that's how it does become the end of the world. One day it's this, the next day it's this. I've had moments at work where like I'm sitting there and like the I don't know, I'm trying to pull I'm trying to pull something off a shelf, right? And like it's all jammed together, they're all wedged together, and I go to pull it down and it just won't come, and I just start getting pissed, bro. Like that right there, I start gritting my teeth. I'm like, what the fuck? Why won't this fucking box come down, dude? I'm freaking out. It, like, come on, come on, come on. You progressively get yourself riled up. And like that's how you snap, and that's how you get angry, and then like that's how you take it out on a loved one. You don't have to do no crazy ass abuse shit, but even just like snapping feels like shit, you know what I mean? Because I've had that where I snap at like a loved one and I feel so bad, like, you know what I mean? Parents, grandparents, sisters, brothers, Um, and like, you know what I mean? You had a bad day and then you come home and, you know, you had a series of bad days and you come home and, I don't know, just everything gets on your nerves and you just start being pissed. Then you just fucking, you're on a war path. I say that shit to myself. You know how crazy that is? Do you know how insane that is? Like, I'd be pissed as fuck. You know, I'll just be sitting there like, I'll be like, I'm on a war path, dude. Julius Caesar, I'm cutting down empires. I don't care who's in my way. And that's insane. You shouldn't think like that. I mean, it's okay once in a while, you know what I mean? But it's bad if that's how you feel all the time or if you feel like that consistently. So I think there's a lot of times where you got to laugh it off or just calm down and be like, it's not that serious. My day is not that bad. Like, and again, I know you're not trying to hear that. People aren't trying to hear that, but it is the truth because being angry all the time is bad. That's real bad for you. And like, I know this episode is kind of odd. Um, Started off weird, right? It's starting off kind of in like a weird spot. Like, what are you talking about anger for? No, no, no. Because I think recently I've learned to overcome a lot of anger. I've learned to let a lot of things go and just like kind of chill out. Like, there's a lot of situations where it's like I'm gonna crash, dude. But then I like sit there for like a minute and I'm like, you know what? It's really not that serious. The day goes on. Like, tomorrow happens. Like, you know what I mean? The weekend's coming up, whatever. Like, you know, regardless of that very moment, like the moment does pass. And that's how you get yourself through a lot of hard shit. Like, the moment does pass. Like, I don't know, if you're at work and you're upset, or you know what I mean, you're at work, you're like, I don't want to be here today, because everybody has those days. Even if you really like your job, which I do, I really rock with my job, but everyone has those days where it's like, I don't want to do this. You know what I mean? Especially on like a Friday or something. Like, you're tired, you're sick of it. Um, and I lost my thought. I was just, I don't know, or like everybody has those days where you're at work and you're tired and you're sick of it. And I think if like you let it get too far, you you start to hate it. You know what I mean? You start to hate your job. You start to get hateful for shit around you. I can't remember the point I was on just a second ago, and I want to, and that's my bad. I am getting better at it. I am getting better at it. If y'all noticed, I am trying to remember more. I'm trying to not cook my brain. I'm just trying to learn recognition again. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, you know, my head's been through a lot of trauma. You know, I'll put out more stories as it goes along. But my head's been through a lot of trauma, so my memory's not great. um, but yeah, I think everybody has those days where you're done with work, and if you have too many of those days, like you start to become miserable. Like, it starts to bleed into your real life. You know what I mean? And you start to be mean to like your coworkers, and every day starts to be like, I fucking hate this place. And I don't feel like that about my job, not yet. But I feel like it can get to that place if you know you let it boil. Oh, but that was what I was saying. My bad. Um, like, you be at work and you like, I hate it. I'm pissed, and then you go through like, this is what I was saying about calming down. This is kind of a not solution, but this is what I do. Like, I get there and like sometimes I'm like, I don't want to fucking be here, and then like you spend like a little bit there, and you're like, you know what, the moment does pass, and like it, and that's what I remind myself a lot of times, and that's what kind of keeps me. You know, it's like if I'm doing some hard ass work or something, and it's like, oh, you know what, this sucks for however long, x amount of, you know, whatever, but once it's done, like once I go home, like it's done for that day, and time will pass and it'll continue on, and like my future is there. um that, and you just gotta remember, like, you just gotta make a bit out of stuff, like especially if you're comfortable at your workplace. Like, I don't know, I just be like, I be giving my coworkers some silly ass faces, I be saying absurd shit, right? I like, just like, I don't know, like like I was like saying to my one coworker, I was like, you know what you call it, a septic truck that's um about to crash. And he said, "What?" I said, "A shit missile." And he started dying, and I felt like the man. And I don't know, just stuff like that. Like you just got to make it a bit. You can't take it too serious because when you take it too serious, then like you're, like I said, like you're just upset and like I don't know. You just got to make a bit out of it. You got to start playing NPC type. That's really it. It's funny. It sounds ridiculous, but anybody who's worked retail, especially like um, like you got to make some like, because every day's kind of the same. You know what I mean? So you just start playing NPC a lot of times. Like the way I stack shelves, I got my AirPod in. Like I'll be zoning the fuck out and like or whatever. You know what I mean? That's not what I do anymore. But that's what I did back then. And so like when I was stacking shelves and whatnot, like I just be I just be playing NPC. I just sit there and like customers ask you a question and like again you treat it like a bit. Like especially if it's like old ladies and shit, like I get hype as hell. I'll be like, yeah, what's up, ma'am? What's up? What do you need? They're like, can you help me find this one? Absolutely. I want to say fuck, but I can't. But I'm like, absolutely. But I want to be absolutely, ma'am. Like I don't know. That's the one thing. You got to make your job a bit, and I have more stuff on that, but those I feel like those are some, you know what I mean, for other episodes. But I do have bits on that on like you got to make work a bit, you got to make a joke out of it, and that's I will say a little. I'll give a little preview on it. I used to work in a telemarketing agency, and I'm not gonna say what it was, but I used to work in a telemarketing agency, and that shit is some of the funnest work you can do. I recommend to everybody try that out at least once, and if it don't stick, it don't stick. But if you enjoy talking to people, like you don't even have to enjoy it. You can just make a bit out of it. I was so nervous because I went in there right, and they had us. I was like interviewed or whatever, and they're like, "Well, we'll just shadow you for like 15 minutes just to kind of show you what it is, right?" So they show you what it is, and like you got a little script or whatever, and you read from the script, and you're like, "Hey, I'm calling from blah blah blah, and we're selling you this," or you know what I mean. Um, we sold specifically. We sold. I don't know what I'm allowed to say about it. I worked there like a year ago, but I don't know what all I can disclose. So I'll look into it. But that's kind of the start of it. I worked in telemarketing, and it is a blast if you make it a blast. I love that job. I want to telemarket again. That's what I want to do for work, but I just can't right now. Damn. Hold up, my bad. But yeah, um, make your job fun, have a laugh, and I just think that's what you got to do. Sorry, I got the burps like a mug. So apologies. But yeah, I think playing the jester is something fun to do. And it's a job that's been alive all throughout history. My bad. All throughout history. And yeah, you gotta think about it. There's clowns out there, man. People just love to clown. People love to have a good time. There's a certain group of individuals put on this earth and they're meant to be clowns. And I'm not talking fucking Joe Rogan. I'm not talking trying to think of other comedians, right? That's not a jester. No. A jester is a, how do I put it? The king of comedy, the pinnacle of what it means to be a free soul. And that you might think I'm bullshitting, and I'm really not, because jesters and jokers keep this world alive. And I'm not talking about the Joker. No. See, jesters, right? Jesters are people who love to laugh. And more than that, they're committed to their bits. And that means the world. Because it's one thing, right, to make people laugh. It's one thing to get cheap gags, cheap comedy, right? But it's a whole different ball game when you're committed to the bit and it's the bit that means more than the laugh, but laughs are still what you know what I mean? Like I don't know how to explain it. They're always neck and neck with each other, the bit and the laugh. But ultimately it is your bit is your art form. And I've talked about this with my homies about what it would be like. Think about this. Try and really visualize this, right? This is what I do. Right? Really try really try and visualize this, right? You are in when is the medieval period? Right. Let me look this up. I'm not I know a lot about the medieval period, but I don't know numbers wise. I don't know shit about like when shit happened. Medieval period, right? Oh my goodness, it starts in 476. All right, so let's say you're in Europe. It's it's 500, right? Wait. I want to get more accurate with this. I really want, oh shit. The mic fell. I really want, I really want people to understand what I mean when I say a jester, right? And they're going to give me some bullshit definition that I don't want, right? I'm just looking for numbers. Oh god, dude, they look hilarious. They look like they look. There's a certain like evil kind of like a cat type of evil, right? You wouldn't kill a cat ever, right? No, cats are cool. We love cats, but anybody who's been around cats or knows cats, no, they have a certain type of evil about them. The way they like to steal things or hide things, and the way they're smart, the way they remember shit, and the way that a cat moves about. Is not like a dog. A dog's a dumbass animal, and I have a dog. I have a dog. I love my dog very much. My best bud, name's Boba. It's an awesome ass dog. Not the point, right? Boba's dumb compared to a cat, and Boba's a smart dog, right? He's a husky mix, and that's like one of the smartest dogs you can get, right? Huskies. But compared to a cat shits on him. A cat runs circles around him, and that's why I love Tom and Jerry, right? But fuck that depiction of Tom. The Tom cat's an idiot and always fucks up, and the mouse always wants to. No, cats are smart. Cats are evil. Cheshire cat shit, right? That that's a jester. It's they're like the embodiment of the fair, which is so funny, right? Because the old medieval fairs, or what do they call them, Renaissance fairs now? Back in the day, right? The jester plays a huge role in the Renaissance fair, right? I'm looking at some shit right now on Wiki, right? When did these fools come about? Um, what? I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to. Mid 16th century, so like the modern use of the English word. Okay, well, yeah, okay. So I said 500. Fuck that. Imagine 1500, right? It's 1500. This is before. This is before guns, right? This is swords. This is knights. This is crazy shit, right? There's monks. The whole world is nut ass shit, right? I always forget the whole world exists in these time periods, right? But it does. So, but imagine you're in the castle. You're in like the best place, right? Comparatively, everyone else is in the town where people are getting sick, people are dying. You know what I mean? People, the oldest guy in the village, the oldest guy in the village out there, 27, bro. Legend, fucking legendary, right? They tell stories about this guy. He's bullshitting half the time. You know when somebody's bullshitting? They say at the end of the story, no bullshit. But that's the jester, right? Or no, that's the town folks, right? It's going bad out there. It's dog shit. Everybody's poor. You know, people die. People die of sickness. There's bandits. Are you fucking kidding me? There's bandits. what? I'm like waking up. There's like loud knocks on the door. It's like people demanding money, right? This isn't the modern day either, where you have like recognition, right? Anybody could just say they're anything, and like, who am I? And like, on the spot, like if I question, I get my head chopped. Like I get my, you know what I mean? I get bludgeoned with like a fucking, I don't know, a mace. Maybe it's not even a mace. Maybe it's just a big piece of wood. Maybe these are real like marauders, right? And they're fucked up. They're poor. Like they're off of ancient drugs. They like wander over and they like knock on my door and they're like, we're from the king's guard, and we're here to take your taxes. And you're like, what the fuck? And like, they just took our taxes like last week. Like, he's a liar. And it's like, no, there's a weekly tax time. And they're like drunk, right? They're drunk as fuck. They're off the meat. Like they're swaying and stirring and falling about. And and you go, what the fuck is going on here? Like who? But like, right? But you're also like, if I say no, right, and I'm wrong, the king's gonna kill me. If I say no and I'm right, they're probably still gonna kill me. There's a knife, a little, two yams worth away. I mean, two decently sized yams away from me. I could lunge for the knife. Fuck it, we're going for the knife, right? That's the town. That's how it goes down there. Terrible, awful, whimsical, different adventures every day. Bad shit happens, but insane, right? But you're on your king shit, right? There's the king, but you're king shit. You're fucking, you're on your own throne. You're right. You're just funny. The people just really appreciate you and like you, right? That is quite possibly the best bit. You know what I mean? Like, you just like, imagine that. Like, it'd be like in the modern day if like you were just so funny that like, and it's kind of thing like there's a yes man now, but you don't have to be a yes man. That's not what you are, right? Because plenty of jesters did jokes on the king, pranks, if you will, right? Um, damn it, hold up, my bad, y'all. But you're in the king's cat. Like, this would be like if you made Jeffrey Bezos laugh like all the time, right? Or you made the president laugh, so like you're just there, bro. And you don't really have a job, right? You're not Secretary of Defense. You're not Minister of Arms. Like, you don't have any of those titles, right? You're not a yes, like, you know what I mean. You don't have to be like, oh, king. No, you're just so funny. You do bits, and that's what's so human and it's so raw about the jester, right? Is because the king is a person. We always view these historical figures as that, as figures, like, right? You don't think about what they do in their day to day life. You don't think about like they shit, they sleep, like they argue. Like, a lot of them had brain damage or mental disorders and stuff. But it's 1500. No one's diagnosing that. Like, the king might have like schizophrenia. The king might have depression. The king might have bipolar disorder. Nobody knows, right? There's no medical science in the air. So you just make the king laugh, right? That's all you do, and you that's your whole entire life. You don't do anything else. You simply make the king laugh. You make other people laugh sometimes, but ultimately it's for the king. The king's who employs you. The king's who keeps you there. The king, you're like a dog, kind of, right? But you're the best kind of dog. You're the dog with all the power in the world. You can slap the king on the ass, right? That's what one guy did. Old prankster Joe. I don't know his real name. Um, he was a jester for one of like the French kings, something like that. And one time the king was getting pissed, right? Because he's human, right? He's yelling at the court or whatever, and he's like, and the dude slaps him on the ass. The jester. King gets pissed, bro. King's furious. He's fuming. There's smoke coming out of his ears like a fucking train. He's fucking pissed. And what do you know it? What do you know it? The king says, "You're done. Like, I'm done. You like, I'm sick of you." And they calm him down. The court calms him down. Everybody calms him down because he's a big ass baby. Once he calms down, he says, "Okay, okay. So I'm gonna give you another chance. I want an apology. And this is so dumb on his part. I think this is how I want an apology more offensive than the joke itself. So what does he say? He said, I'm sorry, King. I thought it was your wife instead. This makes him more furious. He says, What did you say to me, bro?" He loses his mind, right? He's fuming. He goes crazy. He's flying off the handle. So then he's like, "You're done. I'm actually done. That wasn't funny at all. You're going to death." He sentences him to death. And he's like, "Ooh, word." He's like, "But because you are my guy, again, this is because you're locked in, right? You're the funniest guy in France. As far as anyone else is concerned, as far as the king's concerned, you're the funniest guy in France. You're locked in, you're tapped in." This fool says, you can pick how you die." He goes, "I want to die of old age, bro." "Are you?" The king laughs so hard. He goes, he laughed so fucking hard. He must have thought it was the best joke he'd ever heard in his life, because he let him live. He let him off the hook. He said, "You can die of old age. I got you." That's pretty good. And that's my whole bit. That's my whole thing on the jester is it's I'll go more in depth to it some other time, but it's just a role in society where it's a mischief, right? I don't want to say evil, but mischief. It's mischief. It's petty theft. It's sort of evil pranks, right? You're not out there like throwing firecrackers at homeless people, because that's just sadistic. But like, I don't know how to explain it. You're doing funny shit, right? You're just out there playing pranks. You might shoot a nail. You might shoot a tack into your buddy's arm, or I don't know. I'm trying to think of more jester shit. The tack in the arm is probably pretty jestery. Right? You're throwing pies at people. You wear an evil hat that jingles like bells, little bells on your feet. I mean, just the God's perfect idiot, a beautiful fool who made it far enough to be in the clutches of royalty, and that's beautiful. And I have more on the jester, but we're gonna cut it here because I got stuff to do. Right, I got a little bit to do. It's the weekend, but I will see you in the next episode. Hopefully, if everything went right, there's gameplay with this one. So I hope y'all enjoyed that. Let me know what you think of it. I think I'm doing better. But anyways, hopefully I'll be back with another one. I'm feeling good about this one, so hopefully I'll just this weekend I can pump another one out, and then I'll release that in like a week or so. But anyways, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all the corny bullshit, bullscheiße, Unsinn bullscheiße. But anyways, yeah, thank you guys for watching. It's been your host 2400Y2K, and I'm out.
Bitch, what we doing here? I'm swimming in the money.